Here's my first YouTube show and tell. As part of my job, I got to take a helicopter ride to visit some sites in Mesa, Arizona. Here in the back of the helicopter, you'll see 3 of my coworkers and one of the representatives from the city that accompanied us. I'm going to show you some of the places we went and tell you what it was like. That morning, I made sure to tell my wife that I love her, and I made my way to the airport. First, we loaded up in the helicopter at Falcon Field in North Mesa. This isn't my first time taking a little flight out of Falcon Field. I went up with one of my buddies, Trevor, in a little airplane from this airport, while he was in training to be a commercial pilot. Here's a picture I took from behind him as we finished up the flight and landed at Falcon Field. I recorded the takeoff from both inside and outside the chopper. 5 bonus points to anyone who can tell me which miraculous movie recording skill I used to make this happen. Mesa used to be a major producer of citrus. There are still some farms, and this picture was taken of a farm right beside the airport. I like the grid pattern. As we're leaving the airport, I thought it was pretty cool how the shadow of the helicopter lined up perfectly with the helipad below, so I kept that in a little tour. We flew by the air traffic control tower on our way out. Here's the tower, and you can see Mesa's trademark red mountain in the distance. Eventually, we flew by the place that I worked at to pay for college. Yeah. It was actually kind of fun to fly by the freeways. I felt like Detour Dan up there watching the traffic flying by and preparing to give traffic reports. At one point, we flew by Banner Gateway Medical Center. This is where we plan to have our baby in July or August. It's a very modern, smallish hospital with a great atmosphere. After playing traffic reporter for a little bit longer, we flew away from the freeways and into residential neighborhoods. I grew up in Mesa, and nice neighborhoods are the bread and butter of the city. Eventually, we went southeast enough that we started reaching farmland and industrial sites. This site used to be the GM Proving Grounds, where they took cars in the heat of summer and drove them endlessly around the loop seen below. The asphalt has been removed and will soon be covered by a massive solar panel manufacturing facility owned by First Solar. Shortly thereafter, we started heading back to the airport. We drove through some nice neighborhoods next to these little desert hills. Pretty soon I saw these incredible golf courses snuggled up to those hills. I figured that's my type of golf course, since having a mountain on one side means there's only half as many houses to hit. I'm always fascinated with landings. They're almost spiritual to me. It's like you're descending back to reality after being elevated above the masses and the bustle for a while. Unlike most large airplane landings, which seem to be a very long process, this helicopter landing was quite sudden. While flying around Mesa, I got a peek into my current hometown of Gilbert. You can see some pictures here of their Little League ballpark called Big League Dreams. It cost millions more than anticipated and may have had an impact on the mayoral election afterward. In this picture, if you look off in the distance, you may be able to see Gilbert's water tower. It's practically the town icon. While airplane landings take forever to happen and then you suddenly find yourself at the baggage claim, helicopter landings are sudden, but require you to stay in your seat while the engine cools down. The chopper makes some kind of pretty noises during this process. At least I think so. Although I find that helicopter and airplane landings are quite different, one thing remains the same. Everyone understands that their first responsibility is to whip out the BlackBerry and plug back into the communication machine. It was a great tour. I got to see some great developments in the city and got a different perspective on the neighborhoods that I worked and lived in. One of the things I have always loved about NASCAR broadcasts is when they tell you to turn up the volume and listen to the power. In that spirit, here's the helicopter coming to a stop and making the end to my little trip.